Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host as always, the one, the only, the fantabulous Chad Porto. Joining me as always is the glorious one. He is... I got nothing. You're just awesome. He's Marcus Green. Marcus, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Look at that. I lost the W for a week. No more Marcus. Like I'm fucking Massachusetts. Ugh. I parked the car in Harvey Yard. Really? Did ya? You fucking racist. I don't subscribe to the white people be racist allegory, but man, if you from Boston, you racist. I just sit there going, oh, so something crazy happened? Florida. Something racist happened? Boston. It's kind of how I go. Something nominal and not really all that important happened? Ohio. Hey, the corn grew. Woohoo! Big day in Ohio. Hey, it was under 80 degrees for most of the day. Woohoo! Ohio. And then, of course, Marcus has to deal with alligator attacks and swamp people coming out. I mean, most of that's just from Red Dead Redemption 2, but that's how I imagine real life Louisiana is.
Yeah. Apparently, because I never actually went back and checked on this because this was before we got the charge on our air today. My mom was like, it was like, wait on this news report. Apparently, there was a bear in downtown or something. So like, oh, they're like, I want to see where it's from. I'm like, Ma, it's not a, it's not a criminal.
It's coming out of.
You want to see where it's from? I got to see what hood it's from, like or something like that, like where it's from, like it's the uptown goon bear or something like that. Like it was fun.
It's coming out of the French district. Of course it is. Fucking French. It doesn't matter if it's New Orleans, Canada, or Europe. Fucking French, man.
It's like the goddamn West Side Grizzlies.
Oh man, if the West Side Grizzlies are here, just wait until the East Side Lions show up. Oh, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Literally.
Speaking of oh my, so apparently the WWE is hell-bent on giving everyone the Rona. Oh, we're getting right into it. So, apparently fans were allowed in at Raw whenever it was taped, and I don't know how these fans got selected. I think you had to lose a contest. Because I can't see you winning a contest and getting to be in the studio audience for Raw. One, you're putting yourself at risk by getting the Rona, because someone in the audience did in fact have the Rona. Secondly, even if you do get in the audience, and even if you are allowed to wear a mask, and even if you are 100% safe from said individual's Rona havingness, you still have to watch Raw for 3 hours. And then maybe SmackDown too. I feel like I'd rather have a infectious, contagious disease than have about 5 hours of my life dedicated to the WWE. And I'm not entirely sure if that's hyperbole. So here's the original report. The original report was that fans were allowed in, but they weren't allowed to have masks on. However, John Alba, I doubt any relation to Jessica, noted on Twitter that he was told by multiple fans at Monday's TV tapings from WWE Performance Center that they were not told that they couldn't wear protective masks. So they were, in fact, allowed to if they wanted to. There had been reports that WWE officials did not allow fans to wear masks to protect them from COVID-19 on Monday. Alba reports that fans he spoke to told him they never felt pressured by WWE not to wear the masks for TV purposes or any other reason. They did confirm that they had their temperatures taken and signed waivers, but they were not tested for COVID-19. One fan noted to Alba that they were in a group that had masks on, and they chose not to wear the masks when the taping began. Alba also notes that the fans he spoke to did not find out about the WWE NXT developmental talent testing positive for the coronavirus until after the tapings ended. Oh, that's lovely. We noted before the WWE talents all found out about the positive test when it was announced by WWE Online last night. Ooh, I didn't know about that. They only found out when WWE announced it online. Ooh, that's ugly. There's still no word yet on when the company found out about the positive test. Alba also said the fans at Monday's taping were not informed that they had were not informed that they had to get tested, but they were invited back for more tapings this week. We had reported that many of the fans used on Monday were friends and family of talent, which was noted by WWE Today. WWE also had sanitization stations on site at the Performance Center on Monday, and fans who spoke to Alba noted that they felt safe and would attend tapings again, even after the positive test was confirmed. The conflicting reports continued this afternoon on the Wrestling Observer Live. Brian Alvarez noted that there are people are reportedly angry about how there were fans prevented from wearing masks on Monday, or at least encouraged not to wear a mask. Alvarez claims the opposite of Alba's reports, that the multiple people have told him that they were not allowed to wear masks because the company didn't want masks on TV. Alvarez also reported that Kevin Dunn allegedly said that you're not a fan if you're wearing a mask, indicating that people in masks wouldn't be allowed to serve as fans in the crowd. It was previously reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that the fans were told to go home if they wanted to wear a mask. It was also reported that people were upset over fans being used in the crowd, given the positive COVID-19 test by a talent. But it should be noted that we don't know when the company found out about the positive test. We originally reported, as noted earlier today, issued a statement on the fans of you on the WWE issued a statement on the reports of fans used at the tapings. They did confirm that a select number of friends and family were permitted to attend the tapings, but said fans were not in attendance. They also noted that everyone had to go under medical tests before being involved and were kept apart from in-ring performers and production workers. WB also noted that the attendance was below 20% and social distancing guidelines were in place. You can see the full statement below, and we'll read that right now. Fans have not been in attendance at W events since March 13th. Yesterday, a select number of friends and family were permitted to attend WWE's TV production. These individuals were required to participate in medical screenings prior to entering the closed sets to our training facility and were kept apart from in-ring performers and production personnel. Attendance was below 20% capacity and social distancing guidelines were adhered to, with at least 6 feet between parties. Thus, face masks were not required. So let's talk about this because there's already a lot here to unbox. Let's first remember that Vince McMahon essentially killed Owen Hart. Vince McMahon has allegedly given money to a small Pennsylvania community to cover up the murder of Nancy Argentino at the hands of Jimmy Snuka. Allegedly. Vince McMahon has been involved in ring boy scandals, in all sorts of dubious affairs in his life, and has basically been called everything from a closeted bigot to a not-so-closeted bigot. If you're going to sit here and tell me that anything that WWE says has any validity, merit, or truth to it, I'm calling you a jaded little liar, and I'm telling you that you cannot take this company at its word because the person who runs it has no soul. Marcus, I 100% believe that they told friends of talent that they could not wear masks and be on TV. I 100% believe that talent were encouraged to invite only people who they knew wouldn't wear a mask. I 100% believe that Brian Alvarez is telling us the complete story, while Jonathan Alba or Jason Alba or Jonathan Jason Priestley Alba, whatever his name is, John Alba. I 100% believe that John Alba is being given, shall we say, directed reports from fans that may have the company's best interests at heart. Marcus, what do you believe, though? Do you think John Alba's report has more credibility, or do you think Brian Alvarez has more credibility? So basically, I'm asking you, do you believe that the John Alba report where he said fans were allowed to wear masks but chose not to is correct, or do you believe that Brian Alvarez's report where fans were told, especially not to wear masks?
You can't 100% believe everything you're told to hear, but more inclined in this regard to go with Alvarez, who was associated with Meltzer at this point, and those guys are seldom wrong, and it's not like, people haven't been inclined to, forego a lot of this information anyway. A lot of people leak stuff or go to these guys because of internal frustration that they can't get out otherwise for fear of losing their job, but it gets out. I mean, somebody's giving these guys the information. But look, man, overall, like I said, I'm more inclined to believe Alvarez, because Alva's the guy who actually attended the event, right?
I don't know if Alvarez attended the event. He might have.
Al- Alba.
Oh, no, Alba didn't attend the event. He noted that he was given information from fans who attended the event. So we don't
Okay.
know who these fans are. We don't know their ties. Like this could be like Mojo Rawley's best friend, right? Like we
Yeah.
don't know who the fuck these people are.
Yeah.
It could be
Yeah.
Vince McMahon's brother for all we know.
Exactly. Yeah. Even still, I'm still more inclined to believe Alvarez. Um, but look, man, we said it back when this stuff first started. Um, when they tried to get back to the business when New Japan probably did the right thing and shut stuff down. There was always a serious likelihood that this was going to happen, and it just it took a little longer than expected. But when people sit there and criticize guys like Roman Reigns or whoever else who have 100% decided to stay home until this stuff legitimately subsided, clearly doing the right thing. Now, the crazy thing is, when it comes to stuff like this, a lot of people are stuck on stupid because either there are some fans who think um, that somehow their presence is going to make the show better, or they have their head so firmly planted up this company's butt that um, it really doesn't matter either way because people like what they're used to, and they're used to being at these events or whatnot. They're used to this company being a part of their life that they so desperately need to get back to it, despite a legitimate um, fatal virus still lurking very much about, even with stuff opening back up. This kind of goes to show you, man, people's blatant ignorance to a lot of stuff. But it sucks for people that legitimately got it, for the person that got it or passed it on to somebody else. I don't really wish that up on nobody because this thing is still killing people, and we're seeing, even with stuff opening back up, legitimate spikes, which is to be expected. But people, like I said, they rather be comfortable than be bothered. And at this point, with this thing, they're more so bothered, and they rather get back to some level of comfort because they feel like they lifestyles have been infringed upon by this thing now. So, but again, like you said, all those things you listed off with Vince McMahon, and we said it, even going back months. This the guys like Trump, Vince, and other rich white guys, or just arrogant guys in general with a lot of money. This is an inconvenience to them. This always was an inconvenience to them. So any semblance of normalcy they could get back to, regardless of the effect, they was always gonna roll the dice, and now they're paying for it. So
You're not wrong. You know,
yeah,
looking at all this and just taking in what I know from this company and from what I know from reporters in general. A lot of you may not know this, but there was a time when I chased down the leads. I have many a pro wrestling phone numbers in my phone. One of them actually is Seth Rollins' phone number from his days in Ring of Honor. I don't know if it still works, but it's there. And I'll tell you, I've had wrestlers from several different companies come to me, tell me things. Some I report on. Others, they said, on the DL, don't tell anyone kind of things. That, and nothing scandalous, but just, some friends of mine, some former friends of mine. It's very easy for these guys to reach out to people that they trust and talk to them. Sometimes they do it intentionally to get a story out. It's entirely possible that, when you look at guys who were reporting on, like, the dissatisfaction of the Revolt or the Revival, who do you think was giving Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer that information? You think some lackey in catering? No, it was probably coming from Scott Dawson or whatever his name is, Dash Wilder. It's coming from one of them. When it was reported that so-and-so is re-signing with New Japan, you think they got it from some little lackey who drives them to the airport? No. They probably said, hey, I'm re-signing with New Japan. But because they don't ever want to get their sources in trouble, they frame the narrative as if to say, oh, we've heard from sources. When that source is the person, that's a pretty reliable source. So I have a guaranteed, belief that Alvarez is hearing from legitimate sources on this. Otherwise, he wouldn't be reporting it, because Alvarez is not a hack in his field. He's highly respected. Guys like the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega listen to his show and talk to him. Same with Meltzer. These are guys that you can take to the bank when they report on things, because they have friends in these companies who want to talk about the indignities they suffer, but are afraid to do it publicly due to, reprieves. Fuck, Roman Reigns decided to put his daughter, or twins is what he was worried about. His newborn twins first. Did he have twins? Did he have a new set of Usos?
Hilarious.
He
may have.
I think it was twins. He put his children first, however. I think he's got 3. A daughter and 2 twins. Or 1 twin. One set of twins. There it is. That's what I meant to say. 1 twinning. He put his children first, and he's going to, suffer the consequences. Vince isn't going to bring him back and put the title on him. Vince is pissed. Vince is a giant child who has only ever succeeded when he's stolen things from other people. He basically, inherited the company from his father with the basis of a promise. Hey, don't work to ruin the business, work to improve it. Help everyone in your region. Don't take talent from your allies. And the first thing Vince Jr. did was start buying up those talents and shutting down those allies. Those allies, a.k.a. the territories that his father begged him not to destroy. Vince did wholeheartedly and in one fell swoop. Vince is a master narrative constructor because the truth doesn't fit his image. So yeah, having Kevin Dunn, his little weasel rat of a right-hand man who no one who's ever worked for the company can stand, which gives you an idea of who this dude is. Through the litany of firings, because Bruce Pritchard's been fired like 5 times, Jim Ross 20 times, Jim Cornette's come and gone, Vinny Rue has come and gone. Yet, fucking Dunn's been there for, 5 decades, 4 decades, 3 decades. Did I call him Ryan Dunn?
Hilarious.
I think I called him Ryan Dunn by accident. Kevin Dunn, my bad.
Yeah.
So, you think of Kevin Dunn, and you just think to yourself, this dude's been around for a long time because he's a little snake in the grass. He's a weasel. So, of course, when you look at a guy constantly getting fired, it's because they don't have their nose so far up Vince's ass that they can breathe for him. So, of course, any report with the WWE saying we vehemently denied, or there were no fans in it, or whatever bullshit they're putting out there, is strictly to try to negate any type of lawsuit. And we're about to talk about a lawsuit. Ooh, doggy, we're going to talk about a lawsuit. But before we do, WWE has responded to the test from we already talked about that. The test came from the internet. A developmental talent who was last on site at WWE's training facility on Tuesday, June 9th, has tested positive for COVID-19. Since that time, no other individuals that attended the facility have reported symptoms. However, out of an abundance of caution and to ensure the health and safety of the company's performers and staff, all talent, production crew, and employees on site at the Performance Center will be tested for COVID-19 immediately. Following the test results, WWE plans to proceed with its normal television production schedule. This is in reports to the fact that they've canceled the tapings that were set for today, June 16th on the Tuesday. Brian Alvarez says more on the site momentarily, but WWE has canceled tomorrow's tapings to test everyone for COVID after a development wrestler tested positive. On top of nobody finding out about the COVID failure until it hit social media, I was told by multiple sources that WWE would not allow anyone in the crowd at the Raw tapings Monday to wear masks. And now you got Mojo Rawley doing public service announcements. Because he got tested for the COVID. This whole thing is going to boil over, Marcus. This isn't going to be something to be forgotten quickly. Fans are going to remember this. Wrestlers are going to remember this. This is a company that has not had this image so dinged up this badly since 2007.
Yeah, I think we all know what happened in 2007. But Yeah, I mean, not only do those guys get a bad rap, um, those developmental guys, because just internally they have been, I guess, framed a certain way, but both by people who working, I guess, the high ups of the company, and by some, I guess it's taglines at the end of a joke or something by some talent like Orton or maybe some others, but then they have now been used because WWE finally acquiesced to, hey, what the thing that AEW is doing, that's kind of working, and then of course they copy it and still botch it, and you use these guys, put them behind plexiglass, and then clearly they are the equivalent to a lot of these talk show or game show audiences where they're clearly being told what and how to do their reactions, if not outright just being ignored and having and being there standing and looking dumb as uh, they stand there for these endlessly just dreadful tapings for God knows how long, only to then be put in a pay-per-view situation or network special to be piped over by freaking false crowd reaction for a match that is billed to be far better than it actually was, or could ever hope to be, really. So then this happens. Like, this is, you know, this is a horrible employee environment, but then again, they're independent contractors, so it's on them, right, Jack?
Allegedly. Technically, I'm an independent contractor. I can work wherever the fuck I want. You can't say the same thing about WWE wrestlers, however. So let's mosey on down because we got more nonsense to talk about. Despite all this, WWE does intend to hold live events by the end of the summer. According to PW Insider, WWE is prepping for a return to hosting fans by the end of the summer. Currently, several people in the company are hoping to start in August, but admit that time frame could be later due to that. It said that that because of the pandemic recovery constantly planning, the company is working on several different plans. Many members of the live event staff are still on furlough as a result of this. WWE is currently advertising dates for September, but nothing is guaranteed at this stage. One, Tyler Trees, you got to work on your writing, bud. Two, when it comes to fans in attendance, I think NASCAR, which is apparently getting a facial uplift this year, apparently. Go figure. It's about time. Seems to have the right idea. They generally can hold like 80,000 fans in attendance, I guess, because they got some big-ass stadium chairs out there, plus the infield with all the RVs. They let in 1,000 people for the last race. I mean, it's something. You got the NBA, assuming Kyrie Irving doesn't tank everything. The Earth is flat, Marcus. Did you know that? I learned that from Kyrie.
Oh God, I had forgot he was a damn flat earther. I was still adding stupidity to the Styles account.
Oh, no. It's a table for two, Marcus. Oh, he also believes that the CIA tried to kill Jimi Hendrix and that the federal mint killed JFK. Oh, no, not the federal mint. The federal treasury killed JFK because apparently JFK, I guess, had $1 once. I don't know. Kyrie's dumb. Anyone who listens to Kyrie, you're putting yourself at risk.
I don't even want to know his thoughts on Tupac and Biggie.
They're alive and living in Cuba.
Some of these guys, whether it be comments like that or just, and you've seen this over so many years, horrendous post-match interviews.
Oh God.
The whole concept of like the shut up and dribble, which I never want to use against these guys because it came from a legitimate cunt.
Okay, hang on. Folks, if you're new to the show, Marcus swears about as often as I can reach the top part of my shelving. All right? I can't. I'm 5'6". I'm short. Marcus doesn't swear. So when he does, I applaud him. Because it's so rare. He gets the golf clap. Hole in one. Hole in one cunt.
Hold on, what kind? That's good.
Wait, how did we get on Black all of a sudden?
Hilarious.
Oh,
Always
Lashley.
comes back to. Oh, that yeah. See, that could the Bulgarian surprise could be a potential baby. See, they just don't want that lot off TV.
All right, so you were saying you don't want to ever do the shut up and dribble line.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of these guys are just not smart. Or they just their brain goes far faster than they can really sit there and think, or their mouths go far faster than their brains can sit back and try to compute some of the hee-haw that comes out of their mouth. But
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, like you said, the NASCAR, you got the NBA, which isn't even they only doing like half teams, right? So
Yeah, they're going to have like a finite number of people who can travel with the team. It's going to be all active players and then like a couple coaches and trainers. But like anyone who's like injured or who's on the reserve side of the bench or are D-League guys, they're not going to be permitted to travel with them. But after round 2, I think, of the NBA tournament, assuming it happens, assuming Kyrie doesn't stage a coup to Kyrie, we could be seeing anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people in attendance, depending on the size of these venues, for like your semifinals, conference finals, and NBA finals. So like you are starting to see some people willing to do the experiment of how many people gonna get sick. So it'll be interesting to see if WWE follows suit, and if WWE follows suit, I wonder when like Ring of Honor and MLW and New Japan. Although I think New Japan had fans at their last show, but like very minimal amounts. I haven't watched the show yet. So I don't really know for sure. But like Impact hasn't done anything when it comes to putting wrestlers in the audience. I don't mind that they don't do that. AEW's, it's all right. But like you said, Marcus, with that fake crowd noise in Edge and Orton's match, it was like a WWE 2K game come to life. Complete with terrible fucking commentary. Although I will say this. As unlikely as it is for the WWE to hold live events by the end of the summer, and as terrible as the product has been, Samoa Joe on commentary is fantastic, which is disappointing because he's so good in the ring still, even though he's like 40 pounds, 60 pounds, 110 pounds overweight.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it just feels like they don't trust him to stay healthy.
Don't trust me to be healthy? Must be Monday. Think I'm over the hill and can't produce anymore? Must be Monday. Definitely going to leave when my contract is up? Must be a day that ends in Y. Speaking of days that end in Y, the WWE is being sued. WWE has released a statement condemning Saudi Arabia lawsuit allegations, calls anonymous superstars' claims phony. The company has found itself in another conundrum regarding their dealings with Saudi Arabia. Today, a response has been made by WWE lead attorney Jerry McDevitt. Gotta worry about a dude with a name after Jerry. News broke yesterday morning on multiple class action lawsuits being filed on behalf of shareholders in relation to WWE misrepresenting certain items of note with their dealings in Saudi Arabia, specifically a TV deal with Middle East Broadcasting Company, MBC. That's M as in Mouse Broadcasting Company. MBC. We don't report on facts because we don't want you to be well informed. The lawsuit includes statements from 2 anonymous employees, one being from MBC, and another being a former wrestler who was one of the more recent April releases. The statement made by both in lawsuit hit different points of note in WWE's relation with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and McDevitt issued 2 statements to Alfred Kuwa of Forbes denouncing the accusations made by the wrestler about the company. Go figure, it's Forbes he's talking to, the Money magazine. These false allegations were originally made in 2 suits filed by 2 different law firms, McDevitt's statement read, and then goes on to condemn the talent as disgruntled with no knowledge of the facts. What? Disgruntled? What is he, a WWE fanboy? Hey, you can't take his word for it. He's disgruntled. How the fuck did you think he got disgruntled? Come on! Well, he's angry. Yeah, he's got a stupid knife sticking out of his shoulder. I'd say he has a reason to be angry. Well, she's just upset. Yeah, he just stabbed her in the shoulder with a knife. She should be. Lawyer speak. You gotta love it. After the court appointed a third firm to be lead counsel, WWE provided all three law firms with specific detailed facts from persons with actual knowledge of the situation, including the phony allegation about the plane. Whoo-hoo! We're hitting buzzwords tonight, Marcus. The first two law firms then dropped their lawsuits to avoid sanction notions, but the third firm chose to ignore the specific facts that were provided and instead cited an unnamed disgruntled former wrestler with no knowledge of the facts. WWE is preparing its response to the lawsuit and will be moving forward to have it dismissed. The talent, simply named CW2, CW Anderson, made claims that that happened to coincide with the initial reports on the Saudi Arabia plane incident, which occurred on the evening of Halloween 2019. In the article 319 of the lawsuit, CW2 claims that he spoke with a stewardess on the flight about the delay, who told him that it seems someone doesn't want them to leave the company. CW2 further explained that the pilot sounded distressed when he informed passengers that the flight was unable to take off. CW2 recalled that CW2 recalled that then they were told that it was because of a mechanical issue. But he recalled seeing a ton of guards wearing black militia attire and hearing guns that were blocking their exits. Wearing guns that were blocking their exit and staring at the wrestlers. By the by, that then they, terrible fucking grammar. Who is this? Dominic D'Angelo. Come on, kid. Gotta do better than that. In Article 320 of the suit, CW2 also claims he asked the Senior Director of Talent Relations, Mark Carano, the Bella's most named person on Total Bellas, about what was going on, and that Carano told him that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Vince McMahon had gotten into an argument over late payments in connection with June 7th, 2019 Super Showdown event. Carano also informed CW2 that McMahon had cut the live feed from Crown Jewel event and that this made the Crown Prince very mad. So, we've heard this before. We heard the story when it happened. We were told it didn't happen and that people definitely weren't, they definitely, that seems like an overreaction. And I'm just sitting here thinking, when Carl Anderson's wife is tweeting about it, it's true. I mean, how would she know in real time that this is happening unless Carl Anderson, hey, babe, might get shot by the KSA today. What's her dinner? Pork chops. It's always pork chops. Fucking hate pork chops. Except for the dog from Doug. Marcus, only pork chop I'll allow in my house is the dog from Doug.
That's fair. That's fair.
So we've heard the story before. And it's one disgruntled wrestler. But here's the thing about the facts when you present a case like this. One, dismissing a lawsuit isn't really that hard. Two, pressuring firms to stand down, not really that hard. All you got to do is have a bigger dick when you come to the party. However, when you are a law firm and you know that the WWE has billions of dollars to spend at their disposal, in fact, they're going to be still the most profitable year in the history of the company, and they had to let like 2/5 of their entire paid workforce go to some degree, and you're still going to come at them with that big energy, it means you got something. It means you got something, and you know you got something. And the WWE's tersely worded lawsuit dismissal, he's disgruntled, is 101 in lawyership. When you're a lawyer for a major conglomerate, your whole plan isn't to prove the other person wrong, but to, one, try to impose your will and intimidate them out of the situation, and two, try to discredit them. Because if they legitimately had the facts to disprove all this, they would have just released it and then filed a motion to dismiss. But they're not.
Yeah, but I mean, think about what you said. I mean, just think about the level of arrogance in that statement. It's like they're just a disgruntled employee. The way that comes off is because you're not acknowledging at all what they could possibly just go on it about. You're basically just saying whatever they're bitching about, valid or otherwise, it doesn't matter.
It was their time of the month, Marcus.
Exactly. We don't acknowledge periods.
We don't. Yes, thank you. I was about to make that joke. We don't acknowledge periods. Period. Great minds. Yeah, if this lawsuit does end up going forward, if this law firm has the balls to do it, the best thing that comes out of lawsuits is all of the released information that people didn't want public getting public. So even if this doesn't go this law firm's way and the WWE wins, there's still going to be a process of discovery that is implemented, and the WWE will have to turn over sensitive documents that will be public knowledge. I have a feeling that's what this lawsuit really is. I think it's a backdoor into something bigger, but we'll see if anything comes out of this. Because we've seen lawsuits filed against the WWE in the past because, let's face it, when you're Vince McMahon, your every day has a new lawsuit waiting for you. Whether it's, women accusing you of rape, sexual assault, covering up a ring boy scandal, covering up murders, killing Owen Hart, you're going to deal with the lawsuits. And by the by, don't forget, Martha Hart won a lot of money because Vince McMahon killed Owen Hart. So, don't trust the company.
Didn't want to acknowledge the blatant negligence.
Well, you have to have a soul to take responsibility, Marcus. If you don't have a soul, why would you need forgiveness? Yeah.
And a soul, in accountability, which comes with acknowledging that you were in the wrong, which also is backed by a soul, so 100%. But not only did you, that degree of negligence, but you also the show must go on mentality, which is a piss poor excuse, specifically in that scenario. And then I guess you hand the widow off her crumbs, and then try to capitalize off the man that you basically killed's name by putting him in your bullshit Hall of Fame. Come on, man. Where does it end? And I was thinking about something when you were talking, like, maybe this is a question for, like you said, when we get more information on this. I would imagine that this could potentially cause some, because the whole thing still came up about, like you said, a discrepancy in the payment between WWE and Saudi, which I don't know if that's still a thing or not, but this could also cause more tension between them and Saudi, I would imagine, depending on what could potentially come out, which is something I don't think they could afford, considering the fact of how much they kowtowed to those people, specifically for the financial gain. So.
Well, considering this is a lawsuit from investors in the WWE, and it doesn't just span the Saudi stuff, if I remember correctly, this also includes misappropriation of funds and misallocation of funds involving the XFL as well. Like, there's a lot of shareholders upset with Vince McMahon's handling of the XFL and the Saudi Arabia agreement. So it's entirely possible that this is going to go to court and that we are going to get more information about it. And it's entirely possible that this is what ends Vince McMahon's career. Because, Marcus, I need to ask you, who's the most famous gangster in American history?
RS.
I'm going to pretend you mean Erwin R. Shyster and go, probably. Al Capone. Al Capone.
Yeah.
What brought down Al Capone? Do you remember? Do you know? Do you know your history on the Italian mafia? Was it drugs, guns, or whores? Neither. It was taxes. Al Capone was brought down because he fucked up his money. Of all the things in the world to bring down the 1930s greatest gangster, it was his fucking tax filings. Vince McMahon is a gangster, and that's not a compliment. I would not be surprised if the misappropriation of funds on a publicly traded stock market is what ends up ruining Vince McMahon's career as the head of the WWE. Not a rape allegation, not covering up ring boy sex scandals, not covering up Jimmy Snuka, not accidentally airing a Chris Benoit a memorial after it was revealed that he murdered his family. Nope. It's going to be that he took money to start a bad football league. It was actually not bad. I liked it. But that would be hilarious. I would laugh. I would honestly laugh. That would be funny to me. Speaking of funny, Evolve is shutting its doors down. Maybe only for now, but maybe not. Apparently, WWN's Evolve indie promotion is set to cease operations for the time being and will no longer run events moving forward, which is perplexing because they only usually had about 10 fans in attendance. What's the problem? I'm not even being mean when I say that. They only always have like a handful of people there. Evolve's Vice President of Talent Relations, Creative and Marketing Strategy, Gabe Sapolsky, who also works for WNXT, issued a Facebook message in a private group used by those in the company today and made the announcement according to a new report from Pro Wrestling Torch. Sapolsky said that he would be eliminating the private Facebook group because there are no plans for Evolve to run events going forward. This revelation comes after it was originally reported that WWE may have purchased Evolve, including their tape library. You can read that report elsewhere. Regarding those recent rumors, PW Torch adds that the rumors of WWE buying Evolve and parent company WWN Live ceasing operations are not true. WWN will reportedly continue to operate, but Evolve is going on hiatus. The reason was the COVID-19 pandemic. He apparently noted in his Facebook announcement that this is just a fork in the road. He also encouraged talent to stay in touch. They've had a working agreement since 2015. The WWE and Evolve and WWN first launched Evolve back in 2010. Technically, WWN, if I remember correctly, came after Evolve, if I remember right. But they also launched with Dragon Gate USA and I want to say I think Shimmer's associated with them now, but I don't think they always were. So Marcus, are you buying that Evolve is coming back? Do you want to see your Austin theories?
Oh, I forgot he was affiliated with which makes sense because I mean they're basically like the feeder system for WWE. Yeah, I mean look, any more places for these guys to work is fine. Like I said, it's risk involved still, but things are opening back up. Hopefully they're taking as many safety precautions as possible. But for me, the only benefit is like for guys to have more places to work. But yeah, I've never really tuned into Evolve unless it was like a big must-see match. So I don't technically have a lot of skin in that game.
I think I've seen one Evolve match. It was Tim Thatcher versus James Radine. That was like from like 2014, I think. We already talked about that one. Let's talk about Raw last night real fast. Christian returned to the ring, only for Ric Flair to punch him in the dick. And then Christian's like, I did this to protect my livelihood. I was super threatened. Punting you in the head was super necessary. Booker T believes that Christian's going to be coming back because he's got the itch. Apparently this was set up because Edge could not do anything after his match with Randy Orton because he tore his bicep, so he'll be out for about 4 months, give or take. Marcus, are you buying that Christian wants to return to the ring?
Outside of character, I seriously think he does. I mean, and obviously seeing his best friend do what he's doing after all that time. And it's funny because not too long ago I asked you, I brought up the fact about Christian potentially returning because as a Christian fan, it'd be cool to see. And then I think you talked about that he brought up on what it was to be backstage that because of certain injuries, it kind of prevented him, which they brought up on the program. So I don't know where he's at with that, but the fact that they, I guess, let him, they really didn't let him do anything. He just took a fake cock shot. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine he wants to get back in the ring, considering how unceremonious his exit was. Basically got retired on commentary about an offshoot comment about who that was, King.
Mm-hmm.
So, nobody wants their career to end on, like I said, unceremoniously like that. Like I said, I mean, it was good hearing his theme music again and just seeing him And obviously, yeah, he's got a lot of, as we know, great history with Orton, and then he's got, of course, skin in the game with the whole beef with Edge. So it makes a lot of sense. It only makes sense if he can actually do something. So like I said, because of what they did, I don't know exactly where they were with that. It's vintage Flair to pull what he pulled. I mean, he did the same thing all those years ago, um, when Triple H was beefing with Batista. So that's classic Flair. Um,
Let's not forget that Christian and Booker feuded in TNA for a while.
oh yes,
In
yes. Let's
fact,
not
I
forget
think it was
that.
Booker. His win over Christian was Christian's last match in TNA.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, that's great history. Only will
We've
ever
come full circle.
acknowledge. Yeah. But yeah, I would imagine. I mean, and being around as long as they have been, and him being working alongside him on backstage every week, I would imagine that he kind of he knows better than we do. So I would imagine he has the itch. I just like I said, because we don't necessarily know where he's at health wise. Um, but I would like to see it. I can't lie.
If Bret Hart can return to the ring, Christian can. And Bret Hart has a hole in his brain. So there's a good possibility Christian could return with certain, parameters. If we go Hulk Hogan Bound for Glory 2011, where Christian doesn't take a single back bump the entire match, I mean, it could still be exciting. It could still be entertaining. But you're certainly not going to put it WrestleMania main event. But yeah, he could return to the ring. He does. He had concussion issues, but so did Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's entirely possible that Christian's like, "Hey, Daniel, it's Jason." Daniel's like, "Who? Jason Rizzo. Who? Christian. Oh, yeah, I don't know who you are." All right. Well, I got your number from Phil. Who? Phil Brooks? No, not ringing a bell. CM Punk. Oh, I know him. Anyway, this phone call is not going as well as I hoped it would. I was wondering if I could do the same brain stuff that you did. Oh, sure, I guess. Why, you want to get back in the ring? Yeah. Why? You weren't really that good in it. God, Daniel, you're kind of a dick. So, I mean, it's entirely possible. If Daniel Bryan can get cleared after, all these concussion issues and, I think he had some kind of treatment done. There's, new and advancing ideas in stem cell research. John Morrison and Killer Cross and a few others have gone down to Brazil to have the treatment for stem cells. I think it's mostly like joints and back issues that it's helping clear up. But like if maybe there's some development on that side of the wagon, if you will. So it's possible. I wouldn't say it's likely.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm gonna leave a healthy sense of skepticism as well, because what I don't want also, even though like I said, I'm a Christian fan, would like to see him get back in the ring, a la in the form of an Edge or a Daniel Bryan. But I don't want to have to go through all that just to get to a point where he can just only have those type of, because they think they've mastered that whole those taped those Hardy-esque matches now.
Oh, the cinematics.
Yeah, the center. They think that it is. Thanks. They think they've mastered the cinematics now. Like they think they struck gold with that ninja stuff. So, I don't really want to see Christian involved in that specifically with Orton, because what we don't need is like the Christian Orton version of what him and Edge did at Mania. Specifically in lieu of, they basically were like the only great thing that happened in 2011, that year when they had that great feud.
Yeah.
So coming off of that, I don't want that to be watered down by some overly edited to hell horrible cinematic match that nobody really asking for. Nobody with any sense is asking for, I should say.
Speaking of nobody, that's who Rusev is trying to hint at when he says it's not me that Impact is signing. On his Rusev channel, on his Twitch channel, the former Rusev said, as I said before, any Bulgarian can go and debut for Impact. They may have another kid from Bulgaria. I keep saying that. Could be anybody. Look, I don't know who they think. Look, I don't know why you think it's me. I understand why you think it's me, but I can't confirm or deny. Or I don't want to confirm or deny. Maybe they want to pay me $1 million for one match. Who knows? Maybe I'll come in. I mean, man, to me, this sounds like Rusev's coming in. Like, this is the biggest. It's not me. It's totally not me. Why would you think it's me as he's signing the contract? Do you think Rusev will, in fact, be joining up in the Impact Wrestling?
Love this business and watched it for more than half my life. I don't believe none of these guys when it comes to this stuff. Come on, man. That's half the game. That's half the game. Like we just got to talk about Edge. All those tweets about the reports. Nope. Not happening. Nuh-uh. Don't know what you're talking about. Sure shooting, sitting up here watching Real Housewives. Not there. 100%. Not in the city. Like we see this all the time, man. Like don't get lost in the sauce with this. Well, I won't get lost in the sauce with this. Specifically, if he went that far to say all that, like he overstated in that scenario. So again, he's a free. Well, he is 100% a free agent at this point, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's got to wait on his no compete clause, but yes.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean 100%, and that's the great thing about those promos. You really just don't know. But because of the people that they're putting in positions that they're in, they can legitimately tease all of those guys. And yeah, everybody can't go to AEW, so you know. We'll
don't tell Tony Khan that.
Yeah. Well, we know two people specifically, last name Hogan, that can't go there. No, that's not true because Brooke and her brother can go, but no.
It seems unlikely that they would bring in, if they're bringing in any Hogans, I don't think they're bringing in Nick. Hey, maybe they need a new failed pop star. There you go, Brooke. You finally found your calling. Was that too mean? Was that too mean, Marcus? I feel like that may have been too mean.
Gimmick the pop star that never popped.
No. Once you pop, you just can't stop. Speaking of popping and not stopping, Impact is still doing their post-Impact teasers. As soon as that Impact logo comes up, you gotta stay for the immediately after, because you're gonna see something. 2 weeks ago, we saw the hinting of like 9 former stars or 8 former stars and Rusev possibly coming into the company. Last week we saw Michael Elgin talking to some Canadian on the phone, probably Eric Young. I would bet money it's Eric Young. And on tonight, this past edition of Impact, after it ended, we got the video of another news report, quote unquote news report. And the gentleman said that there would be at least one. He said at least one former world champion will make their return to Impact on Saturday, September. That's not right. I said September. That's the wrong month. Come on, you dingus. Come on, Chad. Saturday, July 18th, and then they showed a video, and we're going to go through it real fast. A video showing Kurt Angle, possibility. Eric Young. There you are. Mr. Anderson. Then we got James Storm, Austin Aries, EC3, Bully Ray. No, thank you. So that's who it was. I think there was a Chris Sabin one in there. Yeah, there's Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin as well. We also got a little segment tonight on Impact where we heard EC3's theme when Moose took on Hernandez. They played EC3's theme to kind of psych Moose out. So, the obvious answer is that it's EC3. He did a promo on his Twitter account using the same video from 2 weeks ago, as well as playing his theme song, talking about how he's going to, change things up or whatever. But Chris Sabin's working backstage with Impact, and he's about at that point in his rehab where if he wants to return to wrestling, he can do so because he blew out his knee again. I think it was his knee. But then you also have Bully Ray is under contract, or at least was under contract with Ring of Honor. I believe that Ring of Honor also has. Who else is Alex Shelley is also no longer under contract with Ring of Honor. So maybe Bully Ray is a free agent. I think if we're going to be obvious or honest about this, it's Eric Young. That's at least who I think it would be. Mr. Anderson's also a quality candidate because he left NWA before they ended their first set of tapings, so he's a possibility. Marcus, Kurt Angle, Mr. Anderson, Eric Young, EC3, Chris Sabin, Bully Ray. I think I named them all. Austin Aries. They're all being hinted at for a return to Impact. Of the names that that were highlighted on this video package, one of it, which is probably the name, because I don't think they would do 8 red herrings like that. Which one do you think it is that's showing back up at Impact?
I'm gonna go specifically with EC3. It makes a lot of sense. Not only just between the whole thing with Moose, but just the world title thing in general. I mean, it's the only place the guy ever really thrived or had the chance to thrive at. I mean, all those names are still in play. It's funny. I feel hard pressed to mention anybody from NWA because I feel like anytime I bring somebody else, waiting for Chad to super kick him with oh no, he left. No.
Ooh. So, not to cut you off. No, Marcus, I'm not about to dash your hopes. We have a. I didn't even notice it. So on the first video, we saw Rockstar Spud, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, EC3, Maria and Mike Canales. They're both being advertised still, and Eric Young and somebody else, Kurt Angle. So you saw all those names, but they've added something. So on the second part of this video, Marcus, where they announce that a former world champion is going to come back to the company, and they show all the former world champions that it could be. There's a few new names in the video. You see Eric Young, you see the Bulgarian flag, and then you see a Canadian flag pop up. I kind of joked that it would be Bret Hart on Twitter. Maybe not so much of a joke anymore. So that could be interesting. Then you see Doc Gallows. Then you see Carl Anderson. Then you see Leo Rush.
His actual name comes up?
No, the actual Leo Rush individual. The human being known as Leo Rush. He did
in the video.
In the video. He did.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
he did like a few shows for them way back when.
Oh yeah, but isn't he on a 90-day non-compete too?
Yes, but all these 90-day no competes expire before Slammiversary.
Oh, this is lining up nice right there. Because they could bring these guys in as a faction all at once, or kind of. I mean, this is really good. This is really good, and the concept of these. Cause, I mean, obviously they could. I mean, this is footage, archive footage that they own, so they could play around with it. But also at the same time, I would imagine that you wouldn't throw too many red herrings that wasn't potential, like the Mike and Maria Kanellis would make a lot of sense. I mean, they even endorsed it on Twitter when it was first brought up. But I would love to see Leo Rush there. And then, I mean, we already talked about like him potentially leaving wrestling. I mean, again, you can't believe these guys. So yeah, but I'm still sticking with the EC3 thing. It just makes, like I said, a lot of sense with the world title picture in jeopardy, the way that it is. And then you kind of suggest them make that King of the Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just, I mean, come on, that really makes sense. Cause that's like it kind of almost comes off like a championship scramble. Cause what that is, a 5-way at this point.
Yes, the main event is a 5-way.
Yeah, so that's yeah. Actually, King of the Mountain will make more sense, but. Yeah, I mean that's crazy. Like I said, I'm getting caught up on Impact as we speak, so I got like 3 shows to catch up on. So this is gonna be really good. The fact that Impact now has post-credit scenes, I love it.
So, just kind of some clarity. I don't see any actual dates that he wrestled with Impact, but I do see some that they would have the footage for. MCW GFW Collision Course. They did a few events where Leo Rush was a part of it. I think he did some work with maybe Border Championship Wrestling or an affiliate, because Impact does have streaming rights to several other smaller promotions on their service. So he may have popped up in one of those as well. So this is interesting. With Leo Rush, you still get Mike and Maria Canales. We get EC3 again, Carl Anderson. We get Sting from 2008 or 2007 when he won the no, I think that's 2008 when he won the world title from Samoa Joe. We got who is this? Another shot of Doc. We got a lot of shots of Doc and Carl Anderson, almost to the point where they were showing maybe 3 or 4 times a piece, as opposed to everyone else just getting one shot. So I have to imagine that they're on the short list to come in then.
All I can think about is that 1313 promo. Doc, coming from a bat.
Oh God.
1313. Here comes the stinger. It's gonna be showtime. But yeah, that's I gotta imagine we're gonna get. I mean, several of these names. I gotta imagine. Like I said, this is a great teaser because you don't know, and we don't. I mean, it would suck to be let down. Like we go through all this and all this excitement, and I've seen a lot of people really be excited about this, and all we get is EY. He looks nothing like this.
Marcus
actually came to love.
Marcus, if you want to see me go full Mick Foley on a television set after Daniel Bryan didn't come out for the Royal Rumble, give me only EY. That's exactly what would happen.
Oh my God.
I'll go find someone's son, call them my own, and then tape me beating the shit out of a fucking television screen. So I'm just going through the cage match, and the only one else that I think Leo Rush could have been involved with that they're showing is a House of Hardcore event that Tommy Dreamer owns. House of Hardcore 22, where he took on Tony Nese. That would be my thought. So we got Sting, got Leo Rush now. I don't know, man. Like,
you said Storm is in there too, huh? Because isn't he still tag champs with Drake?
Yes, he is. That might be a red herring. Or Storm may have an open contract with the NWA. Or Storm may not be coming in at all. Who the fuck knows? They could be slashing like Bobby Roode for all we know next time. Or maybe they're doing Ron Killings for goofs, Who knows? Jeff Jarrett even. That'd be funny. I hope it's several guys. And if I'm being honest, Sting, Kurt Angle, definitely EC3. I wouldn't mind Leo Rush. And the Club and Maria and Mike. That's my wish list. Although all of them could, even Mr. Anderson I think has a place. Even Austin Aries could have a place. An Anderson-Austin Aries tag team would be fantastic. I would watch the shit out of that. So that's all I got for you this week, though. Had a long show.
Same. Yeah, same here.
Only an hour, not that long. I'm just gonna double check the headlines one last time. While I do that, what the hell? While I do that, let's tell everyone where you can find us. You can find us at the website at realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com. We're on Twitter at NERDCORP. We're also on Instagram at Real Nerd Corp. We're on Podbean at realnerdcorp.podbean.com, or by downloading the Podbean app to your mobile device and searching for Real Nerd Corp. We're also on Spotify and iTunes by searching for NerdCorp, NERDCORP. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/The Wrestling Underground and twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground. Marcus, you can be found on Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
That's me.
You can also find me. Oh, sorry, I forget your other one. You can also find Marcus's other podcast, The True Penny Show, at True Penny Show on Twitter, TruePennyShow. You can find me on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, ChadNerd. Come on. ChadNerdCorp. There we go. As well as on Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut, ChadSphotoHut. Marcus, my new Twitter avatar is sweeping the nation. A whole 2 people like it. Follow me on Twitter to find out what that avatar is.
Oh, seriously, follow him on Twitter. It's great.
It's the best thing in the world. Marks and I will be back on Thursday. He and I will be talking Stargirl episode 5, as well as comic stuff, I'm sure, and other dumb stuff, I'm sure. Zachary and myself will be on Wednesday for another edition of Making an Impact. Twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground. Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Tune in. We will be recapping this past week's episode of Impact, as well as discussing more about the recent hype package that Impact gave us. Further breakdowns, reviews, and all that stuff coming Wednesday. And as always, if you missed any of our podcasts, you can go to realnerdcorp.com, realnerdcorp.podbean.com, or subscribe to us on Spotify or iTunes to keep up with all of our shows. That's it. That's all we got for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. For Marcus Green, I'm Chad Porto. That's all we got. Marcus, say goodnight.
Good night, me.